This meeting of the Agricultural Labor Relations Board is called to order. Good morning. First, I will call the roll. Board Member Broad, we will be here in a second. Board Member Flores.
Present.
Hall.
Present.
Lightstone.
Present.
Wonderful. And all here in Sacramento. Very exciting. Also present from our staff today is our Executive Secretary, Santiago Avila Gomez, who is providing technical support. First, we'll have the open session of the meeting. Prior to going into our closed session, we will provide an opportunity for public comment on any portion of the meeting. Members of the public who have contacted the board prior to the meeting will be called upon first. After that, we'll go to the comment queue. Anyone who's in the chat or of Zoom or who emails at that time, we'll then call upon to be placed in the queue. To indicate the substantive comments in the chat will not be made part of the public record. We ask that you also provide your name and organization if applicable. This information will become part of the official record of today's proceedings. If you wish to speak more than once, please alert us and we will make every effort to come back to you. If you're having technical difficulties, again, please email us. And Santiago's email is on the agenda, which is listed on the webpage, on our homepage. And we will make every effort to make sure that we can hear your comment. We do have limited capabilities for managing participation during the meeting and during the public comment periods. So we're asking everyone who is not speaking to place their phones on Zoom or Zoom on mute and wait to unmute until you are called to speak. These instructions are also available again on our agenda at alrb.ca.gov. Okay, proceeding to the first agenda item, approval of the public meeting minutes from June 15th.
Chair Hasid, I'd like to remind you that the Spanish interpreter has joined us.
Oh, yes, thank you.
An announcement.
Y bienvenidos todos a esta reunión de relaciones agrícolas y laborales de este comité. Tomen en cuenta que si hay interpretación simultánea disponible en español, there is simultaneous services of interpretation available in English and Spanish to English, vice versa. Once you see the globe icon at the bottom of the screen, please click and select your audio language preference so that you can hear the interpretation in the corresponding language. Por favor, una vez que vean el globo, al fondo de su pantalla hagan clic y elijan el idioma o canal que deseen escuchar en español para quienes escuchen en español.
Okay, thank you. And welcome. We have board member Broad here as well. So proceeding to our first agenda item, approval of the public meeting minutes from June 15th, 2022. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Ooh, all right, great. Member Flores motion, member Hall seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. The next agenda item is the chair's report, and I have a few items to share today. One, we want to wish our colleague, board member Lightstone, good luck. His appointment will be heard in Senate rules this afternoon for his confirmation. So we wish him good luck. And thank him for thankful for his service and continued service to this board. I'd also like to extend an early happy birthday to member Flores. Happy birthday, member Flores. Additionally, I just wanted to share a few updates. We have seen progress with addressing some of the board's concerns and challenges with Bagley Keene. And I understand that there is some reform in some trailer bill language that will be heard by the legislature this week. I want to thank all of the members as well as members of the legislature who listened to public comment about the need for some ongoing flexibility while still maintaining transparency. So thank you so much for that. I also want to share that in the past few weeks, the board has had some exciting meetings about developing some partnerships. General Counsel Montgomery and I met with the California-based regional directors of the National Labor Relations Board, the regional directors for Los Angeles as well as San Francisco, who while in urban areas, all have agriculture in their regions. And I'm very excited to share that there is an eagerness on both parts to form this partnership, engage in some cross-training of our staff, develop referral systems, and partner on outreach so that workers of any industry know where they need to go and understand their rights under either our act or the National Labor Relations Act. So really excited about that partnership and more to come on that. I also had a conversation with the Mexican consulate, Liliana Ferrer, here in Sacramento last week. The board has worked with the Sacramento Mexican consulate as well as other Mexican consulates in California throughout the years. And we discussed our desire to, again, continue this relationship and strengthen it. And similar to the conversations we have with the National Labor Relations Board, develop cross-training for staff, a system for referrals so that individuals who are either going to the consulate or coming to us who need assistance can get that assistance easily and quickly, and do not have to navigate some of those challenges on their own. And we also discussed partnering for the upcoming Labor Rights Week, an annual event where not only our agency, but other state agencies have partnered with the consulates. That will be August 28th through September 4th, and more to come on that. I'm looking forward to sharing additional progress. And that concludes my report for today. Next, the next agenda item is the Executive Officer's Report on Elections, Unfair Labor Practice Complaints and Hearings with our Executive Officer, Santiago Avila Gomez. Santiago.
Thank you, Chair Hasid. Good morning, members of the board. It's going to be a short report. Since our last meeting 2 weeks ago, there's been one complaint issued involving Zabala Farms of Salinas, LLC, case number 2021 CE018 SAL involving cannabis in Monterey County. And that complaint issued on June 21st. Post-complaint settlements, I have one to report. Hilltop Produce Inc. Case numbers, it's a consolidated complaint. Case numbers 2021 CE014 SAL and 2021 CE016 SAL. And the general counsel entered into a informal bilateral settlement agreement and informed us of that fact on June 23rd. There have been no ALJ decisions or board decisions or administrative orders issued. There are two pending matters: Synagro Farms Incorporated, case number 2017 CE008 SAL, that's with the board, and also Benjamin Wrights and Stephen Wrights individually and doing business as Wrights Ranches, case number 2018 CE002 VIS. Additional information as well as this report is available at our website under the meetings tab. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. Otherwise, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Santiago. Appreciate that. The next agenda item is the litigation report, and we do not have a litigation report today. So we'll go on to our next agenda item, which is the General Counsel's report with General Counsel Julie Montgomery.
Good morning, members of the board. Happy to be here and report on a couple of items that have occurred since the last board meeting. First of all, just to give a little more background information about the settlement that our executive secretary just mentioned involving Hilltop Produce in Santa Barbara County. This was the result of charges filed by strawberry workers, two strawberry workers, who alleged that this company retaliated and discriminated against them and others by issuing disciplinary warnings, harassing and bullying them, scrutinizing their work product, changing their work conditions, and ultimately firing the workers because they complained about working conditions. And because they had requested a pay increase and sought to have a fired worker reinstated. So those were the allegations. We did investigate and filed a complaint as our investigation revealed that we believed a violation was committed. And ALRB and the company Hilltop entered into a post-complaint informal bilateral settlement agreement, and there were no monetary damages. There was no back pay owed, so that was not part of the settlement. But the company did, and the ALRB agreed to have us go on their property and read a notice to all the agricultural workers, do a posting for 60 days, and provide copies of the notice by mail to all of the workers employed through Hilltop and the farm labor contractor for the past 12 months from the date of the settlement agreement signing. And we also are going to conduct a 1-hour supervisor training for all supervisors about their obligations and workers' rights under the Act. So kudos to the Salinas region and our other staff who achieved that result for these workers. Just a couple of highlights on the outreach. Our staff's been pretty busy, especially during the past week. We did some training presentations to the Mecca Farm Worker Resource Center and DHS Farm Worker Resource Center down in the Coachella Valley. And that was to service providers and community partners. We also provided a training to the U.S. Department of Labor Sacramento Division staff members that work in the Wage and Hour Division. And so we did that just earlier this week. We've also been holding office hours and providing assistance in areas that are more remote in the state so that workers and community members can have more access to the ALRB and not have to just be able to come into our office or contact us by phone. So we've been holding office hours in Santa Paula, in Ventura County, and also in Santa Maria in Santa Barbara County. We've been regularly holding office hours in both of those locations. And then finally, our staff attended an in-person event earlier this week, or actually I think it was over the weekend, titled Puesto Popular, and it was in Santa Rosa, hosted by the community-based organization North Bay Jobs for Justice. And it was an event aimed at providing resources and information to farm workers and it says jardineros, which I believe are like landscaping or gardening workers as well. And so we had staff doing outreach about the ALRB at those events as well. And with that, that concludes my report, and I'll answer any questions you may have.
I don't have any questions. Do any of my colleagues have any questions? Okay, thank you so much, Julie, and thank you to your staff for all of your good work. Next is our agenda item number 7, the Division of Administration Services report with our Chief of Admin, Brian Doherty. Brian?
Good morning. I do not have any additional updates since our last board meeting on the 15th, but I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has them.
Okay, I do not have any questions. Anyone else? All right, thank you so much. Next is agenda item number 8, the legislation report with Chief Board Counsel Todd Ratchin. Todd?
Hi, good morning. There's a legislative report that's available on our website. The update to report regarding AB 2183 was heard in the Senate Judiciary Committee yesterday and late last night passed out of committee on an 8-1 vote. So that is the legislative report.
Thank you so much, Todd. Do any of my colleagues have any questions? Okay, we do not have a regulation update today. Hopefully we will at our next meeting. With that, we will then turn to public comment. Please be advised that the board is unable to adjudicate, comment, or resolve any pending case matters before the board. I will ask our Executive Secretary, Santiago, to first call those that are in the queue, and then we'll open it up for other members who wish to make public comment. If you are having technical difficulties, please email us and let us know, and we will work to do our best to get back to you. Santiago, do we have anyone in the public comment queue?
There's no one in the queue, and so I'll ask folks in the meeting to please indicate that they wish to make public comment, either by using the Zoom tool, raising your hand, or the chat feature, or simply unmuting. No one has indicated that they wish to make public comment at this time.
Okay, all right. With that, we will then close this portion of the meeting and go on to our closed session. The board will then come back after closed session for final announcements. Thank you.
Oops. Okay, recording's restarted and everyone's admitted. You're on mute. Let me try to unmute you.
Thank you. The board is now back from
I'm
closed
not picking up
session.
any sound, but it might be on my end. Sorry. Go ahead.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. The board has returned from closed session. We'll now have our final agenda item, which is announcements. The next board meeting will be Wednesday, July 20th, and we will issue a notice in due fashion. And that concludes today's board meeting. Thank you.